going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for our webinar series on the IP series and our software suite. My name is Ellen Connor. I am the product training specialist here at Newline. Some of you may have seen me on our videos. I am the girl that wears the headsets and talks about our products. So today I am going to talk about the IP series, like I mentioned, as well as our software suite. Now, I do want to mention before I get started on that is that within our Zoom webinar today, there is a Q&A function. So as we go along, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type those into that chat. And at the end, I will cover those questions and provide some answers. I also want to point out that I am recording this session, so we will put this on our YouTube page for you to be able to visit and share out with customers, or to be able to kind of familiarize yourself with it from there. So to start, I am going to go ahead and talk about the IP series. So the IP series is a new panel that we came out with a few months ago, and you can see that behind me. Now, the IP series, this is a panel that is really for the commercial market. And the reason that we brought it out is some of our end users described that they wanted a panel that did not have an Android operating system. So what we have is the IP series. And the IP series, this is going to be a Linux-based operating system. So it is going to rely on a computer for everything. Now, this could be an onboard computer that you may have, as well as it might be the own computer that you plug into the panel that can be used there. Now, the IP series, this panel is capacitive touch, so that is different than our other panels that might have an IR sensor or some in-glass technology. So again, this is going to be a capacitive touch. So you would need to use a stylus that comes with the panel or something as simple as your finger. And so again, this is the IP series. Now, like I mentioned, it relies on a computer, so I don't have much to share with you as far as the embedded operating system goes. It does have the ability for you to swipe up and check some of the settings. And if anyone's used our panels, you know that we gotta be very gentle with a swipe up. But when you swipe up, you can get the option to change your sources, adjust the brightness and the sound. And so again, that is the IP series. I do want to transition into talking about some of our software now. Now, the software that I'm going to share with you is the launch control, which you can see behind me, as well as the Newline Cast, another software that we have. Now, Newline Launch Control, this is our secure all-in-one meeting space. So right now, what we're looking at is on the left side, I have my time and my date. In the middle, I have a couple of apps that I'm familiar seeing, and on the right, I have my room calendar. And I'm just going to walk you through each of these kind of areas. So on the left, the time and date, we're all pretty familiar with that one. But in the middle, you'll see our apps. Now, the point of this is a lot of times in meetings, people might be running late where they want to quickly walk into a meeting space, tap on a button, and be able to find their content. As well as from an IT standpoint, they want to kind of lock down where everyone's able to access. They don't want them going on that computer and making kind of a mess for them. So here we have our apps, and those are going to be predetermined applications that are housed here. These do have to be an executable. They cannot be a file or anything like that. Again, it has to be an executable. And so for example, here in the middle, I have PowerPoint. Now, if I'm coming in for my meeting, maybe running a few minutes late, what I can do to launch my PowerPoint is just tap on the middle here, and you can see that it's going to launch my PowerPoint. Can select accept, go ahead here. And then from here, I can interact with PowerPoint just like I would normally. Maybe I'm going to open a blank presentation, or perhaps I'm going to open it up on my network drive. Now, when I'm all done with my presentation, I've saved everything, and I exit out at the top right, you will see that it will bring me right back to my launch control. Again, I can't go to the computer and start playing around. I'm locked down in these aspects. And I have a couple of other apps here. I have Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Word, Whiteboard. Google Chrome, all of those can be set up here in our app. So again, just a nice and convenient way to kind of bring up your content. Now on the right side, you'll see the room calendar. And the point of the room calendar is essentially to let people know that the room is booked, that you are going to be using that space. Now, what some people do is they create an account for their Newline launch control that allows for that to be assigned to a room. So when I'm booking a meeting, I am going to invite my room to my meeting. So I have this now reserved. So you'll see it says Ellen's meeting. I've got 2 today. And what you'll notice is it says Ellen's meeting. Now, that's obviously not the subject of my meeting, but because it is a secure meeting space, they do kind of hide the name of it. So you do not have to have it displayed to everyone who's checking if the room is in use. Now, you'll also notice that underneath my first Ellen's meeting that it says launch meeting for me. I have connected a Zoom call to this meeting. So again, if I were walking into this space, I can tap on launch meeting and it will start my Zoom meeting from there. Now this room calendar, like I said, it's just a generic calendar. It lets everybody know that we have a meeting going on. Now, another thing is that I have the ability to log into my own. So from my phone here, you'll see at the bottom right, it says get connected and there is a QR code. There is an app that we have called Newline Launcher. I've got it downloaded here on my iPhone. I'm going to open it up and I am going to scan the QR code that's in the bottom right. And when I scan it, you will see that it's going to log me into my Office 365 account. Now I can from here access my OneDrive over on the right, but I also can access my calendar. So if I select on my calendar, you'll see my meetings for the day. So right now, at 9:30 to 10:30, I have a planning meeting, and you can see my Zoom is connected. So I can tap on Launch Now, and it will launch it. I'm going to swipe over one, and you'll see that I have another meeting, my project meeting. Again, I have it connected with Zoom, so I can walk in, tap Launch Now, and it will start my meeting. And I am talking about Zoom. That is just one that I prefer, but we also integrate with Skype for Business, Microsoft Teams, all of those kind of video conferencing softwares you can use with this service as well. I'm going to go ahead and sign out here, and you can see that it's clearing everything that I have worked on off. Now to get into some of the settings in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the settings button, and I'm going to go ahead and you'll see that there is a pin. So if anyone that is not authorized to make adjustments to the launch control, they would not be able to without that pin. So I'm going to go ahead and enter mine real quick here. And through the settings, you can see that you have the ability to name the launch control. You can also put this in kiosk mode. Now, when you put it in kiosk mode, that will eliminate in the top right-hand corner my X. I just have that as demonstration, but kiosk mode locks me down into this space. I also have the ability to export settings. So if I'm using launch control on multiple devices, I can put that on a thumb drive and use that on other units. Under that, we have the room calendar. This is where I have set up my own account. You can have, again, like I mentioned, a generic room calendar down there at the bottom that you can invite that email to your meetings and reserve the space. There's also the apps and links that I mentioned earlier. This is going to be where your executables will be. You can just tap on Add App or Add Web Link, and that will pull that into there. And then again, like I said, we've got our PIN that we can set, just some licensing information when you log in, and then any updates that you might have. These are going to be over-the-air updates, so as long as you're connected to the internet, you'll get a little notification in your settings button that says it's time to update. So again, this is Newline Launch Control. It is just a secure meeting space that allows for you to connect to different applications that you might be using. Now, if you are interested in getting Newline launch control, please reach out to your Newline sales representative, and they can help you with that. If you're not sure who your Newline sales representative is, please reach out to me. My contact information is in the bottom right-hand corner, and I'll guide you to whoever you need. Lastly, I do want to share with you our other piece of software called Newline Cast. And Newline Cast is going to be a wireless screen sharing program. And so this would allow for, during meetings, when someone wants to share content that they have on their device, they can do that right from sitting down. They don't have to walk up to the panel and plug in their device. So it allows for quickly be able to cast and connect and share content. Newline Cast is going to be a cloud-based solution. So if you have perhaps your panel on a different network than maybe the computer that would be casting, it does not matter. It can be used either way. And Newline Cast, it can be used with any device. I'm going to demonstrate with a Windows device, but you could use that with a MacBook, a Chromebook. You could use your iPhone, your Android phone, your tablets, whatever it is. It's device agnostic. So here, what I'm going to do is I've got my laptop, and I am going to open up the Display Note app. Now, you can use that URL if you'd like to as well, depending on your time limits and kind of who's joined in if you have a moment to download. But here, once I've launched Display Note app, I'm going to enter the session ID that's listed in step 2. And this session ID, this is going to change each session that you join. So if someone were to be in your meeting space and they leave, they won't be able to use that same code to join your meeting. They would have to share to your meeting. They would have to have a new code. So I have connected with that session ID. I've added my name in here as well, so we know who's going to be presenting. I'm going to tap on my device, or my device name, and then you'll see on the screen that I can invite it to present. Once I tap on that, on my laptop, I'm getting a message that says someone wants me to share my screen. Do I want to? If I select share my screen, from there, you'll see the content from my laptop is displayed up on the panel. Now, for Windows devices, you have Bi-Directional Touch. What that means is the content can be displayed from my computer up onto the panel, and I actually can interact with the content here up on the panel. Now, again, that's going to be for a Windows device. Things like your MacBooks, your Chromebooks, your iPhones, those devices, you still need to manage moving through content from them. However, again, from a Windows device, you'll have the Bi-Directional Touch. And if you are interested in getting Newline Cast, again, just go ahead and reach out to your Newline sales representative, and they can set you up with that. I also want to mention that Newline Cast, we have a version, a version that can be for your devices that do have an embedded operating system like the X series or maybe the VN or the RS. There is a version that's on the embedded side. However, we do have a Windows version of Newline Cast as well, because as you can see on the IP series here, not every device has an embedded operating system. So please just let us know if that is something that you are interested in. I want to thank you for joining us for our webinar series on the IP series, as well as our Newline software suite. I am now going to go over to my computer and look if there are any questions, and then address those now. All right. Hi, Jay. I see your question there. I am actually going to reach out to our IT support on your question here because I want to provide the best support and answer I can for you. So I will be following up with you about that. With that, I don't see any other questions. If you do have ones that come down the line, please reach out to myself. You can see my contact information there, your Newline sales representative, or our IT support, and they can provide anything that you need from there. Thank you for joining me. Oh, oh, Mike Lee. Okay, I just saw a question that popped up. Mike Lee asked if you had to be on the same network for Newline Cast, and can students and teachers be on a separate network? Yes, Mike, for Newline Cast, it is a cloud-based solution, so not everyone has to be on the same network. So if your panel is on one network, your teacher is on another, as well as your students, all of them would be able to cast onto the panel with the Newline Cast. There was a question about the UB series. Will this application work on the UB series? Currently, we do not allow for, based on licensing, the UB series is not supported for the Newline Cast based on hardware. There was a question, I'm just going to keep answering them here. So there was a question if this would be posted, this recording. Yes, it will be, and it will be on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out under special webinars. All right, it looks like our questions have ended, so I will, again, thank you for joining us for our webinar. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Go ahead and reach out to us if you have any questions.